Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Ed Dixon has returned to the New York stage with his brand new one-man show called Georgie, My Adventures with George Rose, directed by Eric Schaeffer. And we caught up with both of them on opening night. Here we are. It is opening night. You made it to New York.
To Sardi's. We're in Sardi's. I mean, if anyone had told me when I arrived here with No No Nanette in 1970 that I would be at Sardi's with my own show. And this was an idea that was given to me by Richie Ridge in my house. Do a show about George Rose, Richie said to me. And I did. Thank you, Richie.
You are very welcome. I mean, just tell me why you wanted to tell this beautiful story.
Well, you don't have a thing this large happen to you many times in life. It's a kind of a gift to have something so large. And yes, it's painful, but it's also wonderful, and it's also funny, and it's large.
So let's talk about meeting him that very first time.
Oh my God. We were in I believe his Broadway Arts rehearsal studios. I was very late coming to the process because I was a replacement, and he was even later because he was still doing Sleuth right down the street here, which I think I saw him in, but I had no idea who he was. And I heard that he was fabulous. I didn't know who he was. He walked in the room, and he looked very ordinary, and then he began to work. And I was like, what's that? What's he doing? What is that he's doing? And then from that moment on, I stood in the wings every moment watching him because it was, to this day, the most amazing comedy that I've ever seen up close.
You know, I have the fondest memories, I think I told you before, of seeing that man work on stage.
Yes.
What was it? What was his connection to an audience, George Rose?
He would break through the fourth wall, and he was fearless. He never stuck to the script. He would do anything that occurred to him. Let me tell you something I saw him do once. He threw in a joke into Edwin Drood, a terrible joke, and so it got a groan. And he said, "Oh, you didn't like that? Well, what do you think of this?" And he told an even worse joke, and he got a bigger groan. And he said, "Oh, you didn't like that either." So he told an even worse joke. By this time, it's turned into a huge rolling laugh. And I sat there going, you took 3 crap jokes and turned it into the biggest laugh in the show. He was a genius.
You know, this is such a personal story of Ed's. And so him being a good friend of mine, it's been so great to work with him on it and just, you know, literally feel like you're in his living room where he's telling you these stories. And it's been fantastic, and the response here has been so great.
You know, it all started at your theater. What was it like putting it up there and listening to the way the audience reacted to the entire story?
Well, the interesting thing, because in DC, like, a lot of people didn't know the story, so they were actually shocked by, you know, you're laughing one minute, then I always say, like, all of a sudden the car turns upside down and the story takes a twist. And so the great thing is that they love theater, so anyone who loves theater will actually appreciate all these great stories and the great history of it. And they were fantastic. Like, the audience never expected what it was, and that was the exciting thing about it.
What do you admire the most about George Rose?
Well, I think you look at his career and what he did and all the parts that he played, and it's an amazing, amazing career. Like, it's funny because in the lobby, you know, we have all the old playbills, and like literally like every year he was in a new show. And whether it was a flop or a hit, but he was in one. And so the longevity of that career is just absolutely amazing. He was so talented and so funny. He was so funny.
What would you like audiences to take away after seeing you do this show?
First of all, I'd like them to feel that they spent an evening with this truly remarkable creature. And I'd also like them to know that a person can turn out not to be who you think, and all the love that you have for them doesn't go anywhere because of that.